Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Grand Lange 1 in its original case size, 42mm. You can see this rose gold black dialed double barrel 72-hour power reserve Grand Lange 1 and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Grand Lange 1. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see this is the 2003 to 2011 Grand Lange 1 case size. Rather than the current roughly 41mm case, this is the older 42mm case. It's got a little bit more presence on the wrist, holds up a little bit better for those of you with truly huge forearms. But you can see on my 16 centimeter wrist, it fits well. The watch is thin, only 10.6 millimeters thick. It has a nicely domed bezel that slides easily under a dress cuff. You can see how a sleeve can ramp up over the side of this watch. And from lug to lug, it's just under 50 millimeters across the wrist, and thus very compliant. If your wrist has a oval profile more than round, this will wear well, in my estimation, on a wrist down to as small as, I would say, 14.5 to 15 centimeters in circumference. Because of the curvature of the lugs, it doesn't stick out at the edges so much as it just tapers down. This is a beautifully designed watch that wears just as well. Now it has a dark black, unbolstered, folded edge, glossy alligator leather strap, monotone stitch with a very substantial a.lange Sohne folding buckle. Now you can see it's beautifully made, as every Lange product is large and small, showing the same attention to detail lavished on the watch, polished in and out. It's gorgeous. It adds a nice counterweight to the heavy watch head, so if you are of a persuasion to wear your watch loose on the wrist, this watch has that counterweight in the clasp underneath. It's less likely to tumble as a heavy watch with a pin buckle can. Here it's almost like the keel on a sailboat, keeping the watch upright on your wrist. Now it's all of high polish, which doesn't seem ostentatious because the style is very traditional and the watch is quite slim in profile. You can see there are case band lines where the bezel joins the case flank and where the case back joins the case center, and they give the watch a little bit of definition, but definition is also there in the form of subtle refinements such as the hairline bevel along the lug itself. And you can see the watch features a spectacular tandem of high polish rose gold case and a matte black and matte gray dial. Now you can see constant seconds as well as hours and minutes on top of a matte gray treatment flanked by a beautiful matte black with small accents of red on the power reserve scale and gorgeous alpha style 18 karat rose gold hands for the power reserve as well as hours and minutes. They're also faceted to allow for greater contrast, and they are flanked by applied diamond-style indices and stylized Roman numerals, traditional railroad-style printing visible outboard for minutes as well as small seconds, the calculated asymmetry of the dial, including the overlap of the subdial, handsome, beautifully incongruent in a way that's wonderfully pre-planned, ambitious, and ultimately successful. It's the asymmetry of the Lange 1 dial that's ultimately its aesthetic signature, and it works. There's a gorgeous frame for the double-digit date, and it's toggled with the pusher that's at what would conventionally be 10 o'clock on the dial. You could see beautifully framed in a rose gold set of apertures. It's almost as pleasurable to use in a tactile sense as a really nicely tuned column wheel chronograph, and with the datograph in the catalog, Lange would know what a finely tuned chronograph feels like. Now, power reserve scale, 3 days or 72 hours at 3 o'clock. Pull the crown. You do have hacking seconds, so you can set the watch precisely against a reference time. This watch has immense visual power. Turn the watch over and you can see one of Lange's first and signature movements, exhibiting all of the finishing traditions that have made Lange a modern pace setter in movement finishing artistry. So this is the caliber L901.2, 901 indicating that work on this movement started in 1990, almost as soon as the wall fell, coming to market with the first Lange production units in 1994, largely unchanged since, and for good reason. it's hard to improve upon perfection. You can see the three-quarter style pocket watch inspired unibridge, which does feature small removable inserts for easier service, paying homage to the great era of Saxon East German pocket watch manufacture prior to the communist era. You can also see the train jewels as well as some of the, I believe, barrel pivot points fixed in screw set chaton, golden chaton held in by screws. They can be removed as units. Again, another homage to the pocket watch era. Along the bridge, beautiful mirrored anglage, as good as anything you'll see in Switzerland, executed by hand, rounded and optically smooth. They reflect spectacularly in the light and reward close viewing with a loop. You'll also note the golden tone of the bridges, another Lange tradition in the modern era, harking back to pocket watches. It's a nickel copper alloy known as German silver, highly corrosion resistant. It's also more delicate than rhodium plated brass to work with, so it doesn't have the brilliant silver shine of Swiss rhodium plated brass. It has a rich gold color that becomes more intense with time. You can see black polishing executed on the swan's neck regulator of the balance, which beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and next to it you can see the cap of the escape wheel cock, beautifully black polished with a gorgeous interior angle. There's an even and tight perlaging across the base plate below the balance, everything executed to the highest standard, and yet the pièce de résistance is the balance cock beneath the swan's neck assembly, hand engraved, yet another tradition of modern Saxon watchmaking that began at Lange and continues to be practiced at the highest level at the House of Lange. This is a watch that offers immense satisfaction, a legitimate alternative to the likes of Vacheron Constantin and Patek Philippe, with no compromise in quality or reliability. The Grand Lange 1 and the Lange 1 are traditions in their own right. Start your own modern tradition with Saxon watchmaking and purchase this watch on our website.